Hello, grade 6. Today we are working on Nelson Math, chapter 12, section 6, percents as special ratios. Those of you who know the Latin-based languages like Italian or French or Spanish or Portuguese, and there are others, you know that the word percent means for every 100. So per meaning for, and cent meaning 100. In this diagram right here, these are just 100 grids. I have shaded in 8 of these small squares out of a total of 100. If I wrote that as a fraction, it would look like this. 8 over 100. So 8 are shaded in over 100. However, if I wanted to write that as a percentage, I could write it as 8%. That's the short form to write over 100. This percentage sign here with the circle and the line and the circle, that means that takes the place of a fraction. And when it's written like this, the fraction is a 100 in the denominator. So it's 8%. I can give you an example over here too. I have 47 of these smaller squares shaded in. Because of these 47 shaded in, that's our part. So our part is 47 taking place in the numerator right here. We have a total of 100 squares. 100 squares altogether make up our whole. So our denominator is 100. And as a fraction, this would be 47 over 100. And as I said in the previous example, 47 over 100 can be written more quickly as 47%. So that's how we write the percentages. However, before we can move on, we have to find out, well, what happens when we don't have a total of 100 pieces? How can we make a total of 100 pieces if they're not given to us at the start? Well, let's find out. Previously, we went through this example with finding equivalent fractions. So I gave you this example here, which was 2/5. So 2 are shaded in blue out of a total of 5 pieces. I was able to make this fraction into an equivalent fraction. These two blue pieces are the same size, so our value of the fraction is the same, but they look different. So even though the shaded part in blue is the same area, the numbers are different, but it has the same value. So as a reminder, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue pieces over a total of 15 pieces altogether. So even though 2/5 and 6/15 are different numbers, they do have the same value. We can manipulate the numbers, and as long as we make them equivalent, that's completely allowed. The next thing we're going to learn about, however, is how to make the denominator 100. Because once we can make the denominator 100, that gives us an easy way to find what the percentage is. So right here in the shaded area, I wrote these big thick blue bars here so you could see very easily. I took a standard 100 grid right here and I cut it up into exactly 5 pieces. So I can see this as here's 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, 4 pieces, and 5 pieces. So if I took my 100 grid and I cut it up into 5 equal pieces like this, I now have my denominator of 5. And here we have 2 pieces that are shaded. So I could write this as 2 over 5, which I could do now. And here's my 2 over 5. However, I could rewrite this in a different way. When I shade in these 2 strips like this, I also am shading in 10, 20, 30, 40 squares. So that would be my denominator. I could take that and move it into an equivalent fraction. So I have 40, and my total number of pieces here are 100. So I could rewrite this as 40 over 100. And once we have a denominator of an equivalent fraction over 100, we can write it as a percentage. So now I can write my 40 All of these that you're looking at, the 40%, the 2/5, and the 40 over 100 are all equivalent. They have the same value. They look different. They look quite different, but they do have the same value. We can do another example as well. Right here, I have a standard 100 grid, and I've broken it up into 4 exact size pieces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I can write this as 1 over I can write this piece, the purely white piece, as 1 over 4, which is written right there. So when writing this as 1/4, I have 4 total pieces, that's my denominator, and I have 1 completely white piece, which is right there. However, I can also look at this in a different way. I can look at this as 100 total pieces, and of those 100 total pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 times 5, or 25 of those pieces are white. So I could write that as 25 over 100, and that's the fraction form of it. But once I've written it down like this as 25 over 100, I could rewrite as 25%. And once again, all of these are equivalent. They look different, but they have the same value. Thank you and have a good day.